Cool. I think we are on time and let us get started. So thanks for everyone joining in the session. And also it is taking up the time in the evening to try and attend the session, which is much appreciated. So we are going to discuss today about how do we build AI powered content recommenders with Azure AI Agent Service and Copilot Studio. And this is an interesting topic because when we talk about AI or even generative AI, especially now everyone is discussing about how do we create agents and how do we make these agents to do variety of things. And that is becoming more and more popular, right? But also there is a bit of a confusion around what do I use to create the agents? Should I use Copilot Studio or should I use AI Foundry, or where should what is the technical way of implementing these agents? So that's why I thought it would be nice if we can clear this with a particular use case, and also introduce you about the different ways how you can create the agents and why agents are really popular currently, and also okay, how do we decide on should can I create the same agent using AI Foundry and Copilot Studio, or how do I decide on which one I should be using to create those agents? That is the main idea as part of this today's session. And thanks for Extreme Labs for organizing this particular meetup. And I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, so I understand it is nice to meet other Microsoft certified trainers as well as other people who want to become as trainers to attend these sessions, and really valuable because I also watch a few other sessions from this particular set of meetups. With that note, let me do a quick introduction about myself. I'm Anupama Natarajan. I'm a data and AI consultant. Of course, I'm a part-time trainer too, and based in Wellington, New Zealand. So I run my own company called Pearl Innovations Limited. And so predominantly consulting and training, that is the bread and butter for my day-to-day life. And I do run a couple of user groups in Wellington, New Zealand. So mainly around data and AI related topics. And also I organize the boot camps, so which is the Global Azure Global AI Bootcamp, as well as the I'm organizer for the SQL Saturday event, where we discuss about data and AI topics on a full day free event. So pretty much anything to do locally, if I want to introduce people to any technologies or bring them up to speed through this journey, I do that through my community activities. I have 20 plus years of experience working in the IT industry. So I have implemented a lot of real world solutions. And that's why I said my interest in training came along is how do I take my experience and infuse it in my trainings? And that's what I thoroughly enjoy about in my trainings is I share my interesting stories, like the real stories, which happens in a real world production scenario state with my students, and the ability for me to able to do that is what I enjoy about my trainings. And of course, the questions which people ask, right? Which I wanted to highlight as part of this session too. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as we go along in the chat. And that would be great because I like to have questions, and it will help me to cover off anything that I have missed that I have to be focusing on. So feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I'll be going through the questions periodically, and I will just try and respond as we go along. With that note, and without any further delay, let us get into today's topic, which is all about how do we look at creating agents, and how we will be using the Azure AI Agent Service as well as Copilot Studio to do that. So here is the quick agenda for today's session, and we are going to explore how business users as well as developers, they can utilize the Azure AI Agent Service or Copilot Studio to build content recommendation systems. And why should we use AI agents for content recommendation systems? That's another thing that also we'll be touching upon. And before I delve into the detail, I'm going to give you a quick overview of why content recommenders are becoming critical in today's digital landscape. Because starting from media streaming to retail personalization, people like to see what they would like to see, right? So even if I go to a website and I don't want to see everything, I want to see like, okay, the website should tailor things depending on my taste. So if I want to look at a particular genre, especially on a movie website, I want to see that particular genre. If I go to a retail website, if I buy a particular style of clothes, I would like to see that when I log in. So saying what's new coming came in that space. Or if I one habit I have used to have is like buying books, right? So when I go and search for books, like it should remember like what type of books. I don't. I'm an IT person, right? So I want to see more IT books rather than cookbooks. And so when I log in there, if I get to see cookbooks and not the IT books, sometimes I have to go and search for that. That is not going to be great. So I prefer to have more around things personalized to me in wherever I go. And that's what I really like about. And that's becoming more and more popular, not just with me. Everyone who comes on to customers' websites or even to a lot of their interfaces or applications that they use, they want to have more personalized experience. And especially in the digital world, because it's so easy to personalize things like when you are meeting someone in person, right? And that's what the personal touch that you can give. But how do we bring that same experience in the digital world? And why? And that is becoming more popular. And how do we able to do that with the tools that we have got? So that's what we will be looking at. Then we will be splitting our focus into diving into the Azure AI Agent Service for building the agents and also orchestrating them. And along with that, we will also look at how we can do the same thing with Copilot Studio for low code conversational agents. Of course, we'll have the highlight is going to be the dual demos that we are going to have, because we are going to look at a recommendation system on both the platforms using Azure AI Agent Service as well as using Studio. So that by the end of this session, you will get to know how to choose the right tool set for the audience for these type of use cases. So you will get to see that how you will be able to create, whether you are in the aspect of what I'll be saying is like just to see around going ahead around using Copilot Studio or using Azure AI Agent Service. So how do I decide on what to do when? And that's what you will be able to get to see in here. Great. So that's we'll be getting to see next. So let us start with why content recommenders need AI agents. We know what content recommenders are, but why we need AI agents to do that. So currently, like we are overloaded with a lot of content. Not now, but it's been more than 10 years now since the social media things have came into the market. So we get to see a lot of videos, articles, products, and stuff, and which means we are producing data in a larger scale, and which means like AI agents, they provide real time and also like they understand the user preferences, their behaviors, their past interactions, and it will be able to provide some sort of capability for um, people who are coming back again and then utilizing it. So recommendation engines are typically used to be static, but agents are introducing more a memory for these recommender systems. It has got like dynamic personalization. It can adapt to user interaction. And think about like if you have a shopping assistant, right? And if it knows and remembers about what you liked last week and it recommends accordingly, which is the one I was talking about, right? So if I'm coming back to buy books, the last time if I was searching for Power BI or AI related books, it will be nice if it gives me recommendations in relation to that rather than me going and telling it again, saying, oh, this is what I'm looking for. So that's the important aspect when it comes to using agents in this space. And also agents allow for feedback loops. It will allow for fine tuning recommendations over time. And also it will help in terms of increasing user satisfaction and engagement. And that's another aspect why people tend to use agents these days. So which means like without any user inputs or anything, agents can just uh, ask like if the user is actually, so we don't need to configure too much. By what user is actually asking for, the agents can use it, and also it can remember from the previous memory in terms of like if we hold on to the chat history, right? Typically it can understand from the previous discussions what the end user is looking for, and the agents can cater for that without any issues. And that's the advantage that you get. So if you look at it from that aspect. So hope that's what you will be getting to see as part of the discussions in today's session also. So that's right. So we understood why the personalized recommenders are really important in the digital world these days, and also like how personalization is going to be really valuable for a lot of customers. But how do I create those type of agents? So what tools I have got in the Microsoft stack that will allow me to create these type of agents, where it is like a personal content recommendation system type of things. So the first one we are going to look at is the Azure AI Agent Service. So this particular service has been built for professional developers who wants to have full control, flexibility and orchestration of their AI agent design. So for instance, you can create agents, it can remember things, you can integrate that with APIs and tools, and also like you can plug in with vector source. If you have a database with has got already information available in that, you can do that. And it offers like memory planning tools, everything out of the box. So whether you are integrating with custom APIs or knowledge, this is your go-to platform. So if you want more flexibility on what you're doing and how you are doing, and you want to have more flexibility towards controlling the things which are outside your control, then probably this is what you will be doing. So this keep that in mind. Like if you are planning to go ahead and use the Azure AI Agent Service, it is targeted towards professional developers. So you are a hardcore developer who will be writing programming languages and stuff, but you will be able to create the agents. And also sometimes like people tend to think about like, okay, um, what does this give versus Copilot Studio, which we'll be talking about next. So this gives you that full flexibility I said, right? Like you are not limited by a SaaS product or anything. Here you have got the entire platform available at your disposal. So you can use it for any type of use cases, whether it's simple all the way to complex use cases. Whereas the Copilot Studio, on the other hand, was targeted towards the low code as a low code platform for business users. So these are people who are not writing, cutting code on a day-to-day basis, but they want the ability to create agents because Microsoft wanted to give a tool to them so they don't need to be left alone. So they want the ability, they want these people to have the ability to create their agents as the personalized agents that they are looking for. It's natural language driven. The entire agent will be created using natural language text, and which I will showcase it to you. There is a lot of pre-built connectors that are available that you will be able to integrate that with. So the idea here is give them a low code platform where they can predominantly do a lot of things around creating the agents, adding the knowledge, providing the action, any like incorporate any actions that they want to take care of with the agent, all without writing code at all. So one platform, which is Azure AI Agent Service, it's all about the code. The other platform, which is Copilot Studio, is all about how can I do the same thing without writing much of the code itself. And that is where the compare and the contrast comes between these two platforms. So the target audience, as I said, is totally different. The people who will be using Copilot Studio, these are all what we call it as the business users, or what we call it as citizen developers. These are developers who are sitting in the business. They are not hardcore developers, but they know the context, they know what they are trying to create, but they want the tools to facilitate them to create what they really want. Whereas with Azure AI Agent Service, we are typically talking about professional developers, as I said, who will be writing code in like different programming languages, and they want the ability to create the agents in that fashion. So let us get into a quick demo, right? Because it's easy for us to jump into a demo and try to understand what these platforms can really offer for us. So to do that, I'm going to jump on to my Azure portal. Just give me a sec. Cool. So typically you'll start with your portal.azure.com. So there are multiple ways to get started, I would say. So you can either start with getting into portal.azure.com, or you can jump onto your AI .azure.com and you can play with that. So just give me a sec. I'll be dragging my screen over. Still, I'm on the content, the demo slide. And so I'll quickly jump onto and showcase what we are getting to see here. Okay, so what you get to see here is my presentation. Sorry, I'll just move this one. Cool. So here I have already got a couple of things created, but I will just show it to you how you will be able to go ahead and create them. So this is the typical portal.azure.com, right? So you don't have anything you need to do other than I created a resource group. But the main thing that you will be doing is going to ai.azure.com. So that's where you will be going ahead and creating your agents or do anything related to the agents itself. So where you can go ahead and look at the agents and then you can go ahead and create what you really require to create in there. So let us go to ai.azure.com. Just give me a sec. Cool. So this is the interface. And if you look at it, this is the part here, how you get started with creating an agent. So you can click on create an agent. So you provide an agent name or what we call it as the project name. So for an agent project, so you can say MCT content recommender. So here is the content recommender project that you will be working on. So keep in mind, you choose the subscription, you choose what should be the Foundry resource. So you don't need to worry about provisioning the resource. One cool thing I like about the AI Foundry these days is whatever resources I require, I can create it as part of creating the project. So previously what I have to do is I have to provision them separately. So I have to provision a resource group separately. I have to provision AI resource separately, and everything I have to do it separately. But here I don't need to do that. So I will be able to just use the resource group. If I want to create a new one, I can also go ahead and give a new name, and then I can provide it in the region what I want. And then pretty much like the project would have created, and then my platform will be ready for creating an agent. So that's what you get to do that. So here we can just say, I'll just create a test resource group. Okay, so then it is going to validate the resources and I get on create. So as you can get to see here, this is going to so you'll get to see here in terms of a new project getting created. So all these things are like what I would say is the setting the scene. So like what we have got like a prerequisites before I can get started with that. So here I'm able to create a new project with all the details or the bells and whistles, which is basically the resource group name and what should be the resource that I have to be using to create an agent. So I'll wait for this project to be created. And typically, once the project is created, you'll be able to go and look at, okay, how do I move on to build my agents right away? So this is really a straightforward thing. You don't need to do much with this. The basically like what you will be able to do that is if you have any questions in terms of creating the agents, you'll be able to do that without any issues. So I'll wait for this, and as it says, like it will take a few minutes for the project to be created. So just being conscious of the time, what I did was I already created a project for our presentation. So I'll just quickly jump on to that and showcase it. So this is the content recommender one which I created. And if you look at it, the overview and on the AI Foundry, cool. So you can see the content recommender agent. So this is the one I created. And also like you have the other content recommender agents that you can create with the things. So if you look at the models and endpoints, my content recommender agent uses a GPT-4o model, and we can use any models in here, 4.0 or 4.1 or whichever you want. I think our one is ready. So let me pull that through. So the question it asked was like, oh, now you need to deploy a model. So you can see this is the MCT content recommender one, which I created just now. So now I have to provide a GPT. Let us go for a 4.1 just to keep it separate. So this is what we call it as the model settings scene. And here, one thing if you notice here is like if you are having any particular settings that you want to customize. So for instance, like a deployment type here, there is a variety of deployment types you are seeing here. I'll just quickly explain the key one, which is the standard versus global. So standard deployment is basically we are saying it will actually respect your data residency, right? So data residency requirements is like even for processing purposes, I don't want my data leaving my own country. Whereas with global standard, you are actually giving permissions for the AI systems to say, okay, it will come to your regional GPT model that has been deployed. But if that model is on demand and it is so busy, then probably like it will be going ahead and going to look at into a different region. So it is going to send your request to a different region. So global standard means you are allowing it to go out of your own region, whereas standard means you are just restricting it to your own region where it can actually like use it for processing. But then the question comes in, what if it is so busy and it can't meet my, so you have to wait. So it will send you to say like, sorry, too many requests, wait for some time. And it will also tell you like to when to try again. So you should take the response and try it again later. Whereas global standard, if the current region is busy with that model, then probably it will route it to the next nearest region where the model is available for processing purposes. And keep in mind, it is for processing. None of the data is going to be persisted in other region, but some countries have got strict rules. Even for processing, it shouldn't be leaving outside the country, like especially like from a GDPR perspective. So just keep that in mind. That's the difference in here. So I will go with global standard, and further you can customize on what model version I should be using, and also like how much tokens per minute I require, and you can go ahead and deploy. As you can see, as soon as I created it, I'm here in my agent playground. So it is basically saying like, oh, do you want to try creating an agent here and have a play with that? So that is great. So because I have got an agent playground here that I can work with. So the next options, if you look at it here, is you can add a series of what we call it as the instructions and stuff. So here you will be able to just go ahead and add some sort of instruction. So instruction is nothing but, as you know, like you are actually setting the scene for what this agent is all about. So our agent is basically, it is all about content recommenders, right? So we want our agent to act as a content recommender assistant. So I'm going to provide instruction where it says you are a content recommendation assistant helping users to discover personalized learning content based on their role, interest, and previous interactions. And again, for this one, I can start providing a description for the agent. You can add knowledge, you can add actions as well as other connected agents. So as you can see, there is a variety of settings that you can set it in here. So when I say knowledge, I can add any sort of internal knowledge that I have got. So if you don't add any knowledge, and if the person is asking a question, it is going to go external and asking for it. But if you add the knowledge, the information, the response is going to come from the knowledge that you have supplied. And actions is like if the agent has to perform any task, which is like calling APIs or anything, it will be able to do that. And also connected agents is like if you want to head it off to another agent, so you want to offload this agent has done some work and you need to offload it to another agent, you will be also able to do that. So that's the key advantage that you have got in here. So now I'm going to add bit of knowledge to this. So knowledge can be added in two ways, so either through here or through here. So as you can see, I'm going to add a file as the knowledge store. And this will be stored as a vectorized data. And I have a JSON file which has got some content which I have prepared for some sample knowledge store. And I'm going to load that. And then I'm going to add that file. So see, you can see some files have been added for knowledge and it has been included in here. So now it is now ready in terms of adding the knowledge I'm looking for. So this is a key part to understand here is like how you can start adding the knowledge and then it is going to provide you recommendations based on the knowledge you have added. We can enrich it a few more, but I'm going to keep it really simple for this particular demo because I'm just introducing you now to these concepts. But later, if you want, you can further enhance it. I'll tell you how you can further enhance it. So now I'm going to ask a simple question here. So where I can ask the simple question as you are an intelligent learning assistant helping users to discover relevant content using the knowledge store. I want to get the top 3 learning modules tailored for a data engineer. So because I know about what it can provide, just ask for if you have some description, you have some tags and a URL for each module, provide that. And also I want this to be clearly given as a numbered list. So here I just clearly, so sometimes you don't need to go to this level of detail, but I want it in a proper structured format, right? So you can just say like, okay, give me the top 3 learning modules for a data engineer. It is going to give you, but now I wanted to make sure what columns I require to see and how I want to see that. It needs to be provided in a bulleted list for me. So I can provide that thing and I can add it here. So now this is going to get the response from the knowledge store that I have provided. So as you can see here, this is actually generated from the knowledge store, the JSON file that I have provided. So as you can see, it has the title, it has got the description, the tags, as well as the URL where I can find more information about. And that is the key information. So you can see here what is the request you have set and what's the response you have got. And also like this information is coming from the data, the knowledge store that we have created. So if I want to quickly show you what does that JSON contained. So just to give me a So you can see it has got a series of information around title, description, tags, what is the role we are targeting, and then what should be the URL. So this is the metadata that we have got in the JSON. And what we have now done is we have fitted that as the knowledge store. And one of the cool thing you can extend it further is, because I said I'm going to keep it simple for this particular demo just to showcase it. The another thing you can do is if you have an API in your organization. So I have logged in here. So you can pass the user's credentials. That API can tell which particular role that they belong to, and it can tailor it. So here I specifically asked for a data engineering thing. Rather than I can just say if I have an action where I can connect it to an API, I will be able to say that saying, okay, based on who I am, based on my role, can you suggest me some modules, or can you suggest me some topics? So here I specifically asked for data engineer because it didn't know whether what role I belong to. But if you want, you can also attach an action here, and you can link it to an API. So that's another way how you can enrich it. So as you can see here, if you have an open API format, so for instance, if you have any APIs that will take a logged in user and it return what is the role that they belong to. Even with graph APIs, you'll be able to just import the open API Swagger file here, and then you will be able to call that out. So that capability is also available, or you can use even Logic App to send the user request, and in Logic App it can connect to the graph API and bring in the user's role, and then it will be able to match it with the knowledge store and pulls it. So there are multiple ways you can enrich it. So now you're getting to see, right? So how you can extend your agent. You start a simple agent, you can keep further extending the agent, as well as like you can do connected agents quite easily with the help of the knowledge store here. So this is the first way how you will be using the Azure AI Agent Service to quickly build an agent. And if you want to implement this in code, so you also have the option of the code to be generated in different programming languages. And then you can open this in VS Code and you can further extend it. So as I said, right, you start basically with the simple playground, and then you can further extend it in the code, and however you would be really want to use it. So this is the first part I wanted to quickly showcase it, how to build a recommender agent inside the thing. So here you are furnishing your own data. You can also extend it to say like, okay, I'm this person who has logged in, and you can tailor it based on my job role or even the department I belong to. So you can customize it to that needs of that particular logged in user. If I have to do the same thing with Copilot Studio, so where I want to create a content recommender agent with Copilot Studio, how do I go about doing that? Because that is the next part that you have got. Again, that part is going to be not really difficult either, because when you talk about content recommenders with the Copilot Studio, again, it is going to be more around how do we use Copilot Studio in order to create the agent. So let us go to Copilot Studio .microsoft.com. Cool. So I have already created a content recommender agent just in case, like if I had any issues during the demo, but I will just show it to you like how you can create it from scratch. So this is, as you can see, copilotstudio.microsoft.com, which will take you to the Copilot Studio interface that you are looking for. And pretty much what you have to do is like you need to set the context. What is the agent I'm going to create here? And once you set the context, it is going to be able to produce it. So I'm going to set the context to say, you are a content recommendation assistant helping users to discover personalized learning content. And you will be able to recommend the content based on their role, their interest, and as well as previous interaction. So that's what you are seeing here. So here now, as you can see, the entire agent is going to be created using natural language format. Okay, so I'm not going to write any code in here. At least the previous one, I have to get started, but then I have to extend it with the code. But here, everything is going to be based on natural language text. Cool. So now I says like, what do you want to name the agent? I say like a learning guide. Oh, okay, sure. So exactly this, the agent should recommend whatever the recommendations is. So it is already giving me the correct option because based on the context I was sitting. So I said like the agent should recommend personalized learning content based on their role, interest, and their previous interactions. Great. Is there any guidelines to follow and stuff? So we don't need it. So we can skip this to configure. So as you can see, this is the learning guide and these are the instructions that has been given automatically for me. And now I can go ahead and add knowledge. So when I want to add knowledge, as you can see here, there are a variety of knowledge stores that you can feed in. So you can feed the knowledge from public websites or from SharePoint website or in other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that with what we call it as the sample file from my file system, right? So because I'm going to get the sample file from my file system, it doesn't allow me at this point to add it. So what I need to do is, okay, let me ask it to create the agent first, and then I will add the knowledge for that. So Copilot Studio is now going to go ahead and create my uh, learning assistant agent. So here is my learning guide and the agent is ready. And I can ask any questions I require, but I want to add a knowledge first because I want the responses to coming from the knowledge I have provided. So here I can go and add my knowledge. I want to select the file I want to provide. So I'll use the same JSON file. So this is the first thing you will be looking at. So basically what you are looking at is like the knowledge tool, right? So this is a typical JSON file. So as you can see here, it's the same content what I provided for the Azure AI Foundry. I'm providing it here, nothing different because it's a simple agent and I'll be able to do that quite easily with what I have got in here. And so that's what I'm going to provision in here. So let us start looking at how we can make use of. So ask the same question that we have been asking with the AI Foundry agent also, right? So it is a recommender agent. We said like, okay, you are a data engineer, and then I'm going to apply the same prompt here. What I said with that. So I say format it in a numbered list, and then I'm going to run it. So as you can see here, the files are here, and here are the top 3 learning modules that it has identified, and then it has got some URLs also and topics that you can see here. So mainly the idea here is like, as you can see, it was going to provide the learning modules and it is going to track in terms of like, okay, based on what is the role I have provided. The same thing that you saw in the previous one, right? So you can go and create your action where you can just say, oh, based on the logged in user, identify what their role is and then provide me some knowledge based on that. So you will be able to just go ahead and ask for any additional information like that if you need to. So whether it is going to be based on the Copilot Studio or the other one, I'll quickly show you the Foundry one that we saw. Just give me a sec. I'll just pull through the Foundry one. Yeah. Just too many windows. Yeah, here is the one. Close this. So as the Foundry one that we saw, it is going to be based on like whatever options that we are getting to see here. So it is going to take up the JSON file that we provided. But as I said, it has got potential to further extend that into different level, because you don't need to just keep it at the level what we have kept in terms of like, okay, just not only asking for a simple question, but what you can also do is like you can use it in terms of extending it further, saying, okay, to make it much more personalized if you really need to. So when I say personalized, you can extend multiple knowledge stores. You can pass it on to get the different commands, as I said, what role they belong to, what department they belong to, and then of course you can tailor it accordingly. And that is the aspect that you will be getting from there. So keep the key things in your mind in terms of like how you will be able to uh, provide that capability. And that's what we are looking at in terms of whenever you are adding a knowledge store or when you are adding that capability, you will be able to just look at the options that you have got. So you provide the data store and also think about like what are the things that you want to extend it further so that the knowledge is provided for the right aspects so that you can get to see the output. So in the Copilot Studio, as I said, so when we do the test, you will be able to just find out like what particular knowledge is being used, and basically then it is going to tell you from where it has gotten. So I rerun this just to make sure that it is coming. So as you can see, these are all typically the knowledge modules that are coming from our JSON file. So this is basically if you are starting to provide the file content, then basically it is going to get the information only from the file that you have provided. A few other options that you can do is like, as I said, you can just publish it based on which particular actions that you want to take, which channels you want to publish, which is another cool thing that you have in Copilot Studio. Once I know this is ready, I can publish it to the different channels that I have got here, or I can tailor it to any particular channel I am looking at. So that's the key thing that I want you to look at. So here, so if you have done with that, then pretty much like you are ready to publish the agent. So two options: if you are using Copilot Studio, you publish the agent using the different channels that are highlighted in here. But if you are using Azure AI Foundry, the same agent, you can just get the code of that, and then you can just get it deployed into like a web application or however you want to get it deployed. So as you can see here, right, you can get the data coming from a knowledge store. The another cool thing with Foundry is also the ability for you to just set the model settings. So for instance, you want to say like you need to have repeatable proper response. You can alter this temperature value. So if you go to 0.7 something, anything 0.7 and above, it is going to keep it in terms of like as much accurate as it is. And probability is similar to temperature, but you don't want to alter both the values at the same time. Use one or the other. So that's what the recommendation is all about. Any questions you have got until then? Cool. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. But as you can see here is like how you can quickly build these agents using either Copilot Studio or whether you are using the Azure AI Agent Service. So comparing when I will be using what, and that's the next part we are looking at. So let us summarize on where each of this tool really shines, because we have two options, but where you will be using each one of them. Azure AI Agent Service, this is mainly for developers, and if they want fine control and external data integration and they want to really build a complex agent, then you will be going with the Azure AI Agent Service. Whereas Copilot Studio, it is targeted for business users. Copilot Studio, as you saw, right, it is even less amount of time than what I spent on Azure AI Agent Service. Because Azure AI Agent Service, if I have to publish it into a web application, I have to sort out a few things in terms of the resources I require for the publishing and so on. Whereas Copilot Studio is a SaaS product. As soon as I say publish it into Teams, it is going to publish it into Teams straight away. So in that way, like, it is going to be really simple on how do I create agents in Copilot Studio. Extensibility, it is AI agent service is highly customizable. So if you want to create really complex agents and stuff, like, you will be able to do that with the AI agent service without issues. Whereas with the Copilot Studio, it has to be done through connectors. And then if you are using connectors, it is like a medium level of extensibility. So that's why I told, one of the question people tend to ask is, can I start creating my agents in Copilot Studio and then when further extend it in later stage in AI agent service? Yes, you can do that. So if you want to start your agent, because it's simple agent, let us start with Copilot Studio, and gradually once it becomes complex, then you will be able to just go ahead and utilize it in Azure AI Agent Service. Learning curve, it is a little bit steep when it comes to Foundry or the AI Agent Service, whereas like it is going to be really simple when it comes to Copilot Studio, because it is going to be pretty straightforward. And also the integration is, you can integrate with any service. So even if it is own custom API that you have got, it is going to be pretty much easy for you. So whereas like when you are talking about integration with Copilot Studio, it's all depend on the connectors that you have got. And the last but not the least is like the governance. Governance is manually set up with AI Agent Service, but Copilot Studio has got built-in capabilities that you have already got, and it's available in there. And ideal use case, if you have complex agent scenarios, then go for AI Agent Service. If it is simple scenarios, then probably like you can use it with the help of Copilot Studio, and then you should be able to do that. And that's the advantage that you will be getting in here. So as you can see here, right, so you can pick and choose depending on which option that you are going to take in here. I just saw a question in the chat. What is the difference between building an agent in AI Foundry versus creating a declarative agent using the Microsoft 365 toolkit from VS Code? Good question. So when you are doing an AI Foundry one, it is a standalone, right? You create that as a standalone agent, which you can embed it in a website or whatever you want to do. Whereas when you are creating a declarative agent using the 365 toolkit, you are creating as an extension for your uh, Copilot for M365. So Copilot for M365, as you know, it is something that you will be buying as part of like for as a productivity assistant for your office applications. So if you want to create an agent in order to do that, one is to integrate it with Copilot for M365, or if you want to deploy agents straight away into Word, Outlook, or any of the Office applications, then you will be creating as a declarative agent. But if I want to put it on a website or something, then I need to either go with the AI Agent Service or Copilot Studio. So it's more around use the Office 365 toolkit if you want to integrate that with Office products. But if it is outside of the Office products, then you want to integrate that, then you can use the AI Foundry or the Copilot Studio to do that. So hope that's the response that you get in terms of like whether you choose this or the other option. So that's as I said, right? So even you can use semantic kernel to create your agents. But what now Microsoft have done is like now with the AI agent service, it made the creation of agents pretty simple. So you don't need to worry about using semantic kernel or anything to cut code to create the agent. As I showed you in the Foundry, right? You go and create the agent with the playground, take that code, put that in source control, deploy it, and then you can get going with the agent. So where semantic control, semantic kernel we are using these days is if I have a lot of agents, small agents, and if I want to orchestrate them, because sometimes if you take a business process, one agent is not going to do everything. So you may have multiple small agents and that you need to orchestrate to get the output of that. So that's where semantic kernel comes into the picture. So you can create multiple agents using Azure AI Agent Service, but when it comes to orchestration part, orchestration is nothing but, oh, this agent has to run first. After that, it has to offload it to the next agent. So how do you initiate that or tailor that sequence? And that's where that's what we call it as orchestration, which is what the semantic kernel will be capable of doing. So what we have been looking at today is how do we choose the right platform for our team, especially if you want to create agents. And one example we took was personalization. So if you want to get recommendation systems or anything, so how do you find the right platform? Yes, you have Azure AI Agent Service, then Copilot Studio. One is a full-blown tool for targeting professional developers. The other one is more targeting the low code platform targeting the business users, and you can combine both for hybrid scenarios as I said, right? So start with Copilot Studio. As you are getting into more the complex territory, extend it with Azure AI Agent Service. So start small, iterate it. So that's what I would recommend you, especially if you're starting with agents, is always start small and use Copilot Studio to get started, because first thing is from an investment wise, like from an organization, they can immediately get to see the value of the agents without too much money that they have to spend. And then from there on, it is more around how do we utilize it, and you can just extend it. So then the small agent can become complex. So in a multi-agent scenario, if I want to give you an example, right? Think about a scenario where are working for an organization. The organization have got offices across the world, and you have to go for a meeting to another office. So you have to book a ticket, and every organization they have their own booking system. So you just reach out to your booking system agent and it will help you to book the tickets. But once you book the tickets, the next task you need to do is to lodge a expense claim, because you would have paid for that and you need to lodge an expense claim for that. So to do the expense claim, you need there is another agent your organization has got, which is the expense claim agent. So this is a classic example where it is a multi-agent scenario and you can use the semantic kernel to orchestrate between these two agents. And that's what how you can do like multiple agents to orchestrate together. So in this example, we talked about only two agents, but in a real world scenario, you will be having more than two agents. And that's what we are getting to see here. So you'll be able to see more agents that can orchestrate, and you will be able to do that. Cool. So that's pretty much what I wanted to highlight as part of today's session. So hope you would have got the point around how you can easily build agents irrespective of whichever tool you use, and also pay attention to what is the type of agents that you create. Because a lot of people think, oh, if I go with Copilot Studio, whether I'll be able to, if the agent becomes complex, do I need to write everything from scratch again, which is not the case. So you start with Copilot Studio. As the agent gets complex, you can move on to Azure AI Foundry or the Azure AI Agent Service within Foundry. And you don't need to otherwise go with the one or the other. But if you know the agent itself is going to be complex at the get-go, then start it with the Azure AI Agent Service itself. And that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take up the questions. And thanks for providing me, Extreme Labs for providing me this opportunity. to just showcase the capabilities of how to create agents using either the AI Agent Service or Copilot Studio. So any questions, just let me know. Yeah, thank you for the appreciation I'm getting from people. So I hope you have enjoyed the session. So if you have any questions, happy to take it now. If not, thanks for just spending the time with me on this particular topic. And yeah, so this is going to be hot in the market where everyone is going to be starting to create more agents. And I think it just showcasing easy way to get started. Start simple. Uh, get the agent created, show the return on investment, and then of course you can extend it for really complex use cases. Excellent. Thanks, Domi. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Domi, and I will be able to get in touch and respond if I have to answer any questions. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have enjoyed, and see you at a later point.